I want to fiddle with this tortoise and the hare idea. The analogy was that you have a tortoise and a hare, and the hare runs around, makes all these mistakes, and the tortoise wins the race, right? Yes? We've all heard that story before. Everybody just say yes up. Yes. So I'm going to give you a slightly different variation on that. Yeah? It's a camel, the lion, and the child. Okay? The tortoise and the hare revisited. I thought I would just play around with this a little bit. But what I'm about to share with you is profound. It's really profound. And I love the fact you've got smiles on your face, because you're going to recognize a few things here. So let me just, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to read a couple of notes because it's quite important. The camel, what does a camel represent? Now this comes from Rumi, who's an Eastern mystic, and also from Nietzsche. Couldn't get two more extremes. Came with the same kind of parable, if you want. So camel represents surrender, where we carry our burdens honorably and we pass through desolation to travel to far lands. We respect each challenging step of the journey. Our dedication brings growth and healing. It also represents simple dignity. I would suggest, wonderful people, that most of us in this room are at the camel stage. And some of us are fighting even the camel stage. We have not taken this burden on of this journey, which is an honourable burden of growth, of letting go of the stuff in the backpack. Yeah? But you are now in that process of doing so. Does that make sense? Are you all with me? You feel like you are. Very good. Okay. The line. The line is when we've discovered our heart's capacity to face anything. The joys and the sorrows. Yeah? We awaken to freedom. We speak with a roar. The undaunted voice of truth. We are no longer seekers but leaders. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples of people who've reached that stage. Robert Kiyosaki is a good example. Speaks his truth, doesn't give a fiddler's part what people think. Speaks with authority. Now another example would be somebody like Donald Trump. He's not my cup of tea, gotta be honest. But that man states his opinion. He's gone through that journey of the camel. Yeah? He was a couple of $1 billion down at one point, and has come all the way back. And that point in your life, which all of you will get to, stay on the journey, is a point where you will have peace. And to a degree, when you let go of the fight, you'll have the peace in the camel journey too. It may not be comfortable sometimes. You may want to rage with disapproval at the journey. And you may want to cry with joy at the journey. But in either way, you will be okay with the journey. It's a camel and the lion. Big scary one. Now this one always makes me laugh. The child. This evolutionary path that you're on, the final phase is the child. Not the first phase, the final phase. And the child represents the person we become as a person of wonder, of ease, of a playful heart, at home in the present. So the mind isn't flicking forwards and backwards. At home in the present. Able to enjoy, respond, and forgive, and seize luminosity in life. Luminosity in life. Now let me give you an example of people who've reached that stage. Richard Branson. Do you ever get the sense he's constantly just playing? Yeah? This is a guy who on a weekend goes kite surfing with his family across the English Channel. To him, he's reached that point of such centeredness of being and happiness in who he is, that everything to him, it just seems like that guy have a shed load of fun. Yeah? Now another example, Oprah Winfrey. If you ever see her when she's not doing a show talking about some serious stuff, when she came to Australia, every bit of footage I saw of Oprah, when she was with people, she was just having a blast. She was dancing with all the girls down near the opera house, and every time she met people, she had a joy in meeting people, and something shines out of that woman now. That's a process. Now my favorite one is the Dalai Lama, the story that's in the book that I mentioned earlier, after the ecstasy of the laundry. Dalai Lama was in India for this sort of meeting that's held, I think it's every 5 years or 10 years. Super, super important, powerful meeting. Yeah? You have thousands of people at this meeting with all of the monks, with all of the regalia, yeah? You know, the big trumpets and the whole 9 yards is going on. It's a huge, huge deal in the Tibetan calendar. The Dalai Lama's throne, for want of a better word, it's probably not the right word considering it's the Dalai Lama, is set up on a dais, yeah, and it's a big thing with, you know, big mattresses and stuff like that. The Dalai Lama walks down through this long aisle, thousands of people lined up on either side, walks down on the long aisle. He gets to the big dais, and he turns around, everybody in reverence, thousands of people bowing, thousands of people praying. He sits down on his seat, and he notices a squishy mattress, and he goes. Isn't that amazing? Now the Pope, could you imagine the Pope doing that? Yeah? Because he's evolved, he's an evolved being. And really, to be honest with you, in your journeys, this is a process you're all on. Yeah, it's a process you're all on. Now you can fight the camel for the next 20 or 30 years, 50 years, 70 years, however long God's gifted you on this planet. That's up to you. Or you can understand that there is dignity, there is growth, there is joy in the process of being the camel that eventually leads you to the line. And after the line, eventually leads you back to being a child. This rabbit and the tortoise thing is great, but it doesn't truly reflect the human state and what you're all experiencing. Does that make sense? Okay, everybody just take a minute. Take a deep breath. You're very present, which is great. If anything came up for you in any of those three elements, then by all means, scribble it down. I'll give you about 30 seconds before I move on. We're just going to shift slightly, if that's okay. Okay. So in the context of this, remember this is about building a mindset for long-term success. And what's been sold a lot, like this phrase personal development, I'm not sure that really sits with me very well anymore. I can't think of a better one at this stage. When I come up with one, I'll throw it at you. It's evolving. It's evolving as a human being. That's really what we're on this planet to do, evolve, find out who we are, truly are, and that kind of stuff. So there's lots of, when it comes to a mindset for success, you've got to practice this and you've got to practice that, one-arm press-ups and all that kind of, that's false. That's false. And honestly, it'll only serve you for a certain amount of time. Now, I'm not saying there isn't value in some of that stuff. No, I'm not saying that. There's some great value in that stuff. But what I am saying is there is a deeper process that needs to go on, which you're all experiencing, but this is the first time maybe it's been articulated in a rational, conscious way. Some of the stuff that you've experienced, some of the emails that Luke and I have received, it's not fair, I'm fed up. How does this work? Can it do any better than it? You know, blah, blah, blah. That's normal and natural because we put you into this wonderful journey. And it's the camel process, okay? So what I'm going to do now is talk about sort of three major elements that I think are important for building a mindset for long-term success. Number one, this is very powerful. Have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Now, there's a lady called Carol Dweck, and she's very, very smart lady. And I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by this. And this hopefully will ring true for one or two people. A fixed mindset is when people believe their basic qualities, their intelligence, their talents, or their abilities are just fixed traits. They have a certain amount, and that's that. Okay? Now, when Luke and I say you are capable of anything, we actually know that to be true. I have seen even me go from this bumbling, terrified hostage person to this genius, windswept, interesting guy you see romping up and down before you. So I know that this is not true, but many of us actually think it is. And a lot of the times in school, because of the way the education system was set up, and a lack of understanding of how the brain works, you are often told, look, Rain, you're very good at creative stuff, but you're really bad at maths. You'll never be good at maths, don't do maths. Don't be a doctor, be a dancer. Yes? And the truth of the matter is, that isn't true. That you are all capable and have a growth mindset. Now, a growth mindset is, they believe that even basic talents and abilities can be developed over time through experience, mentorship, and so on. These are people who go for it. They're not always worried about how smart they are, or how they'll look, or what mistakes they'll make. They will challenge themselves to grow. Isn't that gold? Don't care about how smart you are, how you look. Now, who does that sound like? Will Smith? He is not the best actor in the room. He is the most successful, one of the most successful of his generation, by a long shot. He has a growth mindset. So it's number one, in terms of building your mindset for success, is understand your mindset, your mind is capable of anything. It may entail a little bit of hard yards, but it's capable of anything, as are you. Right at the start of today, I said your limitations are self-imposed. So understand, you heard of the phrase neuroplasticity?
Yes.
They're proving now that the brain can actually change itself and develop, blind people or people who are deaf. They've used certain exercises to bring hearing back and a certain amount of vision. The brain is extraordinary. Rod's nodding because he really knows this stuff. The truth is, we still haven't tapped into the extraordinariness of our own brain. This fixed mindset fitted what was, certainly in Victorian times, a sort of a very structured way of looking at who human beings were. They're the working class, they're not very intelligent, therefore they can only do this. This is the middle class, they can be doctors and lawyers, they're a bit more intelligent. This is the ruling class, they are really super intelligent and they can run around the world, shooting lines. Yes? And it was structured, and so it fitted in this really kind of mechanistic sort of fashion. That's all changed now. It's been proven that the brain can change. Yes? There's a great book called A Whole Brain Child. It's a really extraordinary book for any of you who are parents, but it's also a really extraordinary book to understand how the brain can be changed in terms of behavior without belting the crap out of them. It actually also helps with you and your own development. Now, so that's number one. And when I read that, I thought, that is just gold, A growth mindset. This is not about force. It's about understanding I am unlimited. I am unlimited. Number two. This is really important. You must know who you are, what you stand for, and be willing to die for that. From this point, all your actions are summoned forth. Now, I put this one together. If you're not willing to die for something, or you find that a little bit too strong, that's okay. Change it to something that suits you. But you've got to stand for something in this world. This world is beige. It's like a beige Volvo out there. Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10 are creating beige Volvos everywhere. And then every now and then, you get a bright red Ferrari. Yeah? Or a bright blue Aston Martin, and it's called MasterChef or something like that. Comes along, changes the game. Everything else, everyone's trying to be like everyone else. Everyone's trying to fit in. Everyone's trying not to upset everyone else. And I actually like people with lots of tattoos and spiky hair, because at least they're doing something different. Except when there's 500 of them together and then they're all the same again, right? You get the point. From this point, all your actions are summoned forth. This came to me in a moment of inspiration. Everything in terms of your mindset for long-term success is deeply rooted in who you are and what you stand for. If you're committed to this journey, you're committed to yourself, if you're committed long-term, no matter what it takes, like Will Smith, I'll do what it takes to get there, as your core value, all your actions from that point are summoned forth. Alright? Now, the one thing I want to make sure is that you don't believe this is just one long battle. Yeah, that this journey is one long... It's not. There are just highs and lows. I'm just conscious of the fact that because you guys have stepped across the threshold, about 70% of you in this room have gone through a process of challenge recently. So we just need to handle that. But you get light and dark, and both have qualities that are important. Alrighty? We all okay? Oh, great. Okay. So, write this down. Tell me one thing you stand for that will make you unpopular with your friends. Yes? Sophie's laughing already. That's a good sign. Tell me one thing you stand for right now that will make you unpopular with your friends. Tell me one thing you stand for that will make you unpopular with your friends. If you're struggling to think of something, that's okay. It's a work in progress. Alright? So it's alright, Annie. Thanks for your honesty. Now, you can answer this in your own good time. Share this tonight over a couple of drinks with people who you're bonded with today and laugh about this. I got an email from the boys back in London. They used to play rugby at Cardiff University. All those guys continued playing rugby in London. I did very briefly and then continued on in Hong Kong. They're kind of like a whole robust bunch of brothers. Robust in every sense. Like I was the smallest by far. They're all 6 foot Jewish. And then, you know, they're not kids anymore. But you wouldn't believe it if you ever saw them with a couple of beers in their hands. Dear Al, we've got our Christmas get-together, 20th of December. Are you coming back to Europe? We're going to such and such a restaurant, same restaurant as last year. It's tequila slammers and drinks and all that kind of stuff. And the restaurant is a steak restaurant. Dear all the lads, I don't drink, I'm a vegetarian. What? Now, those boys will accept me no matter who I am. But will they take the mickey out of me like you wouldn't believe? Because I'm the smallest, even to this day, when I walk into a pub, like a big rugby pub, like in Wimbledon or stuff like that, as soon as I walk in, you will hear, hi-ho, 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 because I'm the smallest, right? And words like, where are your other 6 friends? How's Snow White? Yeah, these guys got a wicked sense of humour. So you can imagine, I go back there to lads who don't drink and are vegetarian. It's just going to be a field day. But I'm okay with that, because I know deep down actually you really love me, and vice versa. I don't hear from them very often, but when we get back together, it's like the clock stopped, and then started again when I reappeared. They're great guys. Now, but the truth is, there will still be a couple of guys that have a problem with it. Can't get their head around who I am, what I am. So you should have some values that will make you unpopular. Because if you don't, it means you're just like everybody else. Now, I'm not asking you to go and now deliberately pick a whole bunch. I shall, take cocaine every day, smash a policeman in the nose. This is part of my values of just kicking against the system. Don't do that. What I'm saying is stand for what you believe. And here's the acid test. When you're in a party, somebody says something, you disagree, and you can tell they're uncomfortable. And if you backtrack, you're full of crap. But if you just stand there and say, I don't mean to make you upset, it's just what I believe, then I'm going to come and find you and give you a big hug. Because, that saying, terrible things happen when good people keep their mouth shut. It's because they don't understand what they stand for. And that's why this kind of crap happens. Who believes in what they believe in? What do they stand for? Okay? All good. Lovely. I bet this is a bit different to what you were expecting in terms of building the mindset for success. Yeah? Good. Because I'm not going to get you on boxes reciting stuff over and over again that I know you'll forget in 3 minutes' time. So, number 3. We said we'd share 3. This one is a term that I've coined recently. Consistently apply robust honesty with yourself. Work on your stuff and unpack your bag. Consistently apply robust honesty with yourself. Work on your stuff and unpack your bag. Would you like to know what I'm unpacking in my bag now? In the spirit of openness and honesty.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Just finish writing that, and then once you have, look up. What has come up for me recently was what happened to me when I was 16 when I broke my neck. Because I never really handled that. And what happened to me when I was 16 was traumatic in every sense. And I know there's one or two other people in this room who've been through similar kind of trauma in terms of accidents and stuff like that. Where my anxiety stemmed from is the trauma of nearly killing myself, but then after that, just bottling it up. Yeah, as 16-year-old boys do. Now, interestingly, as I've gone back and looked, so I'm unpacking this bag now, and I've known about this for a long time, and thought that I'd handled it, but I haven't. Got to go deeper into the bag. When I look back now, I realised that one of the reactions to coming out of hospital was I went straight into weight training. I still had a collar on, and I got, big and muscly. And part of that was trying to keep myself safe. I am now safe. I am physically indestructible. And I was asked by one of the guys, so you know how I said I spend $2,000 a month working on my stuff? The guy said, he asked me a really interesting question. He said, why do you do all the weights? To make myself indestructible. He said, oh, okay, so then did you sort of withdraw slightly from the world? And I said, no, it had the opposite effect. I went out like a banshee. Like I played rugby at 20, which is only 4 years after I broke my neck. Yeah? I was getting into scuffles in pubs. I was riding motorbikes. In fact, I did everything, drinking, taking drugs, sleeping around, all of that, like I was going to die the next day. So it had that effect for me. But what I didn't do, that was me running away. Yes? That was me running away. What I didn't do is tap into the trauma of that time, which is not a day or a couple of days. It was 6 weeks on, flat on my back on traction in hospital. The subsequent anxiety attacks and all of that come from this terrifying time that I had where I nearly died. And so it comes back up. And so what I am working on, robust honesty, which is what I try and always be when I'm in your presence, I am working on that in my rucksack, because I'm starting to get towards the bottom of the rucksack, where all these smelly socks are. Yeah? It's just a process. And it's okay. Alrighty? So if you want to build a mindset for long-term success, don't do that cliched stuff. Look at who you are now. Yeah? Understand that this is a process over time, and make sure that over time you cherish yourself and you work on yourself and get rid of some of this stuff. Okay? Because it's not serving you. It was serving you. It did do something like the anxiety for me. Is actually my body doing exactly as it's programmed to do. Look after me. Look after me. Keep you safe. So I just accept that. And then, well, it's not serving me anymore. So we're going to delve into that. So part of the reason why Luke and I work on two different levels all of the time is we know that as you get into the strategies and put them in the world, then some of your stuff will start to filter to the surface. So let's just start handling that. Is everyone okay with this?
Yes.
All right? Everybody stand up for 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. All right. All I want you to do is just stretch this one out again. Just face it up into the ceiling, because something's popped up in a few people, and I can see it from here. So just stretch up in the ceiling. Again, just close your eyes. And whatever it is that came up, yeah, whatever it is, dark or light, just let that go through the fingers again to the ceiling, and just allow it to go up into the energy, up into the light. Just breathe it out, up into the ceiling, And as you breathe in, I just want you to breathe in as if it's just crystal clear air, and it comes through your fingertips, all the way down your arms, through your head, all the way down through your abdomen, your chest, all the way down to your toes. So we'll just do a big deep breath in of clarity. And back out again, just to clear the last little bits in your baffles. And just shake the arms out. Great. Grab a seat just for 2 seconds. Now, here's the joy of this process. As you go through this, you unpack your bags, robust honesty, everything that I've talked about, those 3 steps in terms of building, what will happen is in the future, things will just get easier, and easier, and easier. More or less pleasant sometimes, not necessarily. More or less joyful, not necessarily. Just easier. So when Luke and I have a big blow up, as in something goes wrong, you do not see Luke and I on the floor thrashing around saying, this is not fair, we're really unhappy. 9 months to put together a presentation that disappeared in 30 seconds. Yeah, and I've just been checking the stats. Oh yeah, you know that presentation we do, yeah? Do you know that it doesn't work as well as that other one? No. Tell me the stats, yeah? Okay, we've got to have to bin it and start all over again. Okay. Move on. Gets easier and easier. And you have more, to use Catherine's term, ease and grace in your life. Are we all okay with that?